Well, today we're on the Tipperary Blueway. It's quite windy, overcast, cloudy, but 19 degrees. Now this greenway hugs the river Suir for the full to the destination in Carraig-on-Suir. Now folks, I've pulled up here on the side of the Blueway. The river Suir is in front of me, and I've done about 5 kilometers from Clonmel to here. Just looking at the most gorgeous herd of cows in a field here. Young bullocks in a beautiful field surrounded by dense forested and beautiful vegetation. But 19 degrees. So I'll cycle on and catch up with my good wife. Today is Father's Day, so may I take this opportunity to wish all fathers, grandfathers, a very happy Father's and Grandfather's Day. So now I'm going to jump on the saddle and do some more riding into beautiful South Tipperary countryside. once again, folks, we're on the saddle on the Tipperary Blueway, just heading on the outskirts of Kilsheelan. Sunny, 19 degrees. Right. Well, we're here beside a little house on the prairie. Now, far from a prairie we are, but we're here on the banks of the River Suir, about 6 kilometres short of Carraig-on-Suir. after 18.23 kilometres, we're just arriving in the town of Carraig-on-Suir. We're hugging the River Suir the whole way from Clonmel to Carraig-on-Suir on our right hand side. And the wind that's blowing is to our back. So we'll be facing right into that as we head back up into Clonmel after we've had probably some lunch and a pint for Father's Day. If we can find an establishment that's open and respectable enough in Carraig-on-Suir. So looking forward to that little interlude. So we've another big greenway from Dublin on to Longford in the planning stages via Mullingar. So we're going to do that in 3 stages over a few days. Shortly, it's in the planning stages, the early planning stages. But it is going to happen, and looking forward to that now as well.
We're going down that way.
Now, having failed to get lunch or any sort of a beverage in the town of Carraig-on-Suir, after trying 3 different places, we left in a disgusted frame of mind. So we're back on the saddle. I'm now cycling into a pretty stiff breeze, and the river is now on my left hand side. But it's still 19 degrees, but there's a fair wind blowing into my face now, fair headwind. But getting back to having failed to get something to eat or drink in Carraig-on-Suir, oh my God. However, there's no point in being too critical. We're enjoying the drive. We will have lunch and a pint in Clonmel, where we've never failed to have beverage. Actually, a footnote here is this is our 6th time doing the Blueway from Clonmel to Carraig-on-Suir, and on 4 of those times when we arrived in Carraig-on-Suir, we actually failed to get something to eat. On the other 2 occasions there was a little cafe in the main street, and we were delightfully fed and watered there. But today and on the last occasion, we've noticed that that little cafe has its doors closed. Now, whether it's just for today or whether it's a permanent decision. But anyway, we're on our way back to Clonmel on the Blueway. Quite cloudy now and a bit nippy, sleeves rolled up, but the pedal is to the metal and we're heading to Clonmel. It's worth noting here, if you can hear me over the breeze that's gushing past me, as I head in the direction of Clonmel, that this is our seventh Greenway adventure. Now, we've done this one 6 times, as I've said. We've done the Great Western Greenway on 2 occasions, all 94 kilometres of it, and again recently we've done the Limerick and Kerry Greenway on a few occasions. We've done the Waterford Greenway on a few occasions, and we've done 2 others which failed in my mind to resurrect their names. We've done 7 in all. Some are repeats, but on a one-off we've done 7 Greenways at one-off. Some 2, some 3, this one 6. It's not that we're getting bored, it's just that today being the day as it is, we said we'd keep it local enough to our home. So, the Blueway, Clonmel to Carraig-on-Suir. those of you out there that might be contemplating cycling or walking the Blueway here from Clonmel to Carraig-on-Suir, bear in mind there are no facilities like shops or toilets along the route. There's a few villages just off the Blueway that you may be able to buy something in a little shop if it's open, but don't expect to discover toilets and shops and restaurants in an abundance, because they're simply not available on this greenway, which is the Blueway. I might be confusing you with the greenways and the Blueways. This one is the Blueway, Clonmel to Carraig-on-Suir. But there are no shops and no toilets. There are seats sporadically placed along the route by the river. It's really gorgeous countryside. It's well worth taking a bike or walking. Looking here now on my left is a heron, knee deep in water, awaiting his next beverage. And the river progressing silently, though rather swiftly, through beautiful countryside on its way to Waterford and on to the Irish Sea. But it is lovely countryside. It's very, very picturesque, very peaceful. This Blueway can be rather narrow in lots of places. There are a lot of bends. Be careful. You don't want to end up in the drink and get wet for your trouble. Just be cautious, be careful, and enjoy your day. The best procedure here, I think, my advice would be to bring your own picnic in a backpack. I think it would be the best way to proceed.